Now, when we passed these incentives, the idea was that these were meant to be a very aggressive tool to diversify our state's economy. And Lord knows we need to do that. We're no longer the auto capital of the world. But we certainly might be able to be the new film industry of the world. Now, from a very selfish point of view, these credits have actually helped people in my district, businesses that have moved in there. Now, Los Angeles-based Newcastle Entertainment Company partnered with Parallax Production Studios, which is a Southfield-based motion picture production and post-production facility, and they had a 2-year, $60 million partnership in the filming and editing of up to a dozen feature films. Now, we've already received in Michigan commitments from 3 large-scale production houses to locate in Pontiac and Detroit and Allen Park. These are depressed areas. Think of the money, think of the business, think of the excitement, the tourism that we're bringing to these areas. We know that Hollywood is exceptionally good at moving quickly and investing heavily and promoting globally. This is probably the most important sign I've seen out there. I live in Michigan, I want to work in Michigan. We have to keep the brain drain from continuing. We need to make sure that our young, talented people stay in Michigan and that we attract new, young, talented people to live and stay in Michigan.
Since our company's conception in early 2008, we have quickly expanded our resume and continue to build great projects. From commercials for Best Buy to web series for Disney, music videos, and of course, feature films. Deep Blue Pictures continues to grow, and with every inch of growth, we give back to our home state. If the incentive is capped or eradicated, this will cease.
Senator Cassis and other opponents need to get a clue that Michigan jobs are created and maintained through the state because of these bills. The hurt has already occurred because of negative publicity. 2 films that we are aware of have already moved because of negative rhetoric and fears. These are reasons that we cannot tolerate caps or reductions in our incentive program. It will kill the investment, send those investors running for the hills.
I wish I could say I had a whole bunch of my friends from my local with me, but you know, I've got good news. The fellas from Flipped wanted to be here. They're working. The fellas from Wannabes wanted to be here. They're working. The fellas from Genesis Code wanted to be here. They're working. The pre-production staff of Red Dawn wanted to be here. They're working. About a half a dozen other films resumes have gone out to, shows starting between now and the beginning of October this year alone. Also, my friend Dan Noga wanted to be here. He's a union DP. I called him yesterday and Dan said, I'd love to be there. I got hired by Specs Howard. Specs is a video and trade school, and they've been responsive to the request from their students saying, we want to be in this film incentives, we want to be in, we want to work at home. And Specs has added classes specifically along with the other schools. And that's something we haven't heard today. The education is moving forward.
I've seen companies like S&R, who's an event rental company who did nothing in the film industry a year ago, see a 100% increase in their bottom line because of renting tents, porta-johns, chairs, tables. Now, I've talked to people here from Enterprise Rent-A-Car who've seen a $400,000 increase in their bottom line in the first 6 weeks of the legislation last year. We've seen hotels, and not only businesses, we've seen nonprofits as well. If you think of churches as nonprofits, if you think of VFW halls as nonprofit, when those locations are rented not necessarily as a location, but as a place for crew to have lunch.
I rent parking lots. I rent restaurants. I go out there and I find places to feed crew and to put actors and to hold them and to find places to put changing rooms. I've had the ability to go into different bars and restaurants and rent their facilities to actually use as backdrops and holding areas on days that they wouldn't normally be making money. I've had the opportunity to be paying for city employees to make overtime. Police are coming to work out with us. Fire departments are working with us on our dime.
I live in Michigan. I want to work in Michigan. That's right.